Well, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, broadcasting from Tulum, Mexico. So, once again, through the miracle of technology, we're all here and we get a chance to connect with each other. Um, I haven't chosen a topic of the week yet, but what I like to know to see if anybody's got any questions or struggling with anything specific. So maybe we can go from there. Any of you have any questions or struggling with anything that keeps showing up? Heinz, do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Something Anita already asked some times ago. So everything is under control of the universe, but what's our job? Maybe you have more ideas what to do, what we have to do.
You do the next thing, whatever the next thing is.
Okay.
So for example, let's just make it very simple. Like today, what really felt right? What is it that feels really good to do? Is basically to be here right now, correct? Right. So can you do something else right now? Can you be somewhere else?
Yeah, if I do this, then no, then this is what I have to do. But yeah.
Right. So this feels like the best thing to do in this right now. This I'm sorry, evening. Right now it's 7 o'clock there, right? So
Yes.
like this is the only thing you want to do. Yeah. So something is gravitating you and it's really pulling you to be here, despite millions of different choices you have. I mean, you can go to a bar, you can go to a restaurant, you can go on a date with a beautiful lady, you can watch some football game, go to a concert or opera. You can do a million different things. But this is what you really want to do right now because it feels right. So this is just how it is. Whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, is exactly that's what I'm supposed to be doing because I can't be anywhere else. I can't do anything else. So then, okay, that leads us to the next thing. Just one moment, please. I just want to make sure this is okay. Good. So that leads us to one other thing. The other thing is that there are moments that happen for all of us, but I'm speaking as my personal experience. So, uh, like things I feel like I should do. There's like a lot of things, like let's say related to what I do, that I feel like I can do more. I should do more. And I don't do it. And it's kind of sometimes could be damaging to my work, um, but I just don't do it. Then the mind comes and says, what are you doing? Why are you being lazy? Or why aren't you finishing your book? Or why aren't you publishing your music? Or why aren't you running some ads regarding the academy so you have more participants? Why aren't you blah, 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 blah? I hear the thoughts come very strongly. And they're beating you up that you should be doing something else. Then when I want to get up and do this other thing that the mind is telling me I should be doing, there's no juice, there's no energy. I can't get up and do it. The power, the energy that When I wake up in the morning, there is a power, there's an energy that allows you to get out of your bed and go through your daily morning routine. And when this energy is not there, you can't do it. Even though you think or logically you should be doing it, but it's just not there. The juice is not there. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm very happy you're asking questions.
In past academies, you are saying everything is under control of the universe, or God, or whatsoever. And so you don't have energy because somebody is saying you shouldn't have energy. But what is then our part? So we are still living and we are in here and doing something, and you don't have the energy, okay, but then what else? What is your job?
You mean me personally?
You or anybody of us.
Right. Yeah, it's it's going through the motions of life, of whatever the motions are. So it's okay, it's a one grand spirit, one presence, one living spirit. This living spirit has manifested itself through these bodies, these people. Where all of us are here, for example. Let's use our group here. So it is the same living spirit acting out as you, acting out as me, as Anita, Hilde, Shadi, and everyone else. So the power place, PowerPoint, or power engine is the same power engine for every of these human beings. That's where we're deriving our power from. And as we're deriving the power from this source, the source is also inputting the behavior or the action. So it's just a program that Heinz is going to be living this life because it wants to experience this life, this existence from the point of view of Heinz. It wants to experience it as the life of Heinz. But because it's not limited to it's infinite. It can experience simultaneously millions of different people. So because it can, it does. It's experiencing the life of Zarathustra, experiencing the life of Anita or life of Marit or Renetta. It's just experiencing these different lives simultaneously because it can. And then there is challenges. Like Zarathustra has his own challenges, his own ups and downs. Things happen in my life and things that I have to accomplish, do. Things go well, things, don't. It's experiencing your life, whatever ups and downs you have, challenges you have. It's experiencing Anita's life. It's experiencing through Hilde, experiencing life of Hilde, experiencing the life of somebody with some kind of physical disabilities. It wants to experience that. What is it like to live this life and have physical challenges? Then it's going to live the life of, I don't know, let's say an athlete, a famous athlete, name one, whomever, any athlete. It wants to experience the life of someone who's very athletic, Then it wants to experience the life of somebody who lives in the ghetto, and maybe it wants to experience the life of a prostitute. It wants to experience the life of a tyrant. It wants to experience the life of someone who won an Oscar, one, is an actor. It's a nurse. It's a truck driver. Somebody who died in the war. It gets to experience all of these lives simultaneously. Because in its natural, ordinary nature, it's very like, it's emptiness. It's potential energy, but it's not being directed at anything. It's just is. It's space. It's infinite, but it's not anything. So for it to be able to experience feelings, tastes, it needs to come in a body, and it needs to create time-space. Without time, without space, it can't experience taste. It needs a mouth, it needs a tongue, it needs nervous system to taste food. Is this making any sense, Heinz? Go ahead. I'll continue the dialogue. Let's talk. Bring it. Yeah, let's talk about it. Just whatever you say is not stupid, or it's not. It's good. It's good to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm always confused that things are made from outside, from the universe, from God, and we don't have our own will, but still we are here and have to do something. So that's where I'm not.
You're not really. You're not sold on it. Who said this? I didn't hear the first part.
Oh.
You mentioned somebody said this. I didn't hear when you said somebody said it.
Yeah, I hear this from you, Zarathustra.
Oh, from Zarathustra said that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the understanding of that I don't have any free will and I don't have any choice, it brings tremendous amount of comfort. It makes things so different. Because I remember Papaji always said, the apparent life takes care of itself. The apparent life takes care of itself. The life that appears to be real, it always takes care of itself. So, and it took me a long time to kind of get it, but now it's like, wow. Because, I can't help it not to, when I come short and I don't really accomplish what I need to accomplish. And I can't tell you that I don't experience moments in my life that I don't feel like, excuse my language, I'm a fuck up. There are moments like, there are times like, it's like, yeah, I fucked up, I'm not utilizing all my talent. I'm not doing everything I should be doing. Um, you know, Rather than staying home and writing my book or taking my computer to the beach and working on my book, I want to go to the beach and play backgammon with my friends or play cards or go swim or run or sunbathe and do nothing. And yeah, there are moments that thoughts come like, oh, you're a fuck up. I can't tell you I don't have those thoughts. I can't tell you I don't have those feelings. They're all appear. They arise. And if I buy into it, then it makes me depressed. If I buy into it, it makes me sad. And all kinds of a myriad of different things, thoughts and ideas and concepts would appear from it. But the fact that I know everything is perfectly where it needs to be, and I'm taken care of, everything else is taken care of, and it's all perfectly where it should be, that brings tremendous amount of comfort. And it's like, okay, all right, I can just, kick back. I can just kick back, or I can just be here, be all like, all right, I'm gonna be on top of things, and really, I'm in control, and I have to know everything. It's like sometimes people come to me for third eye activation or coming for a third eye activation class or private session or people coming from my private the life training program, and they want to know what's going to happen. Oh, what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I know what's gonna. I think I know what's gonna happen if, there's a fan up here. So if I turn the switch, most of the time the fan starts running. Okay, then I can tell you, yeah, if I turn this switch on, the fan is gonna run. And of course, it could be broken and it doesn't run, or the switch box can blow up in my face. But most of the time, when you turn on the switch, it works. But I don't know if I do third eye activation to somebody, what's going to happen. It's the mind that wants to know. It's this sense of control that I have to know. I have to know. I must know. And this goes back to the sense of separation, because I'm separated from existence, and existence doesn't really know what it's doing. The past billion years or 3, 4, or 10,000 years of human history doesn't mean anything. Life didn't know what it was doing. I am here since my arrival on this planet. The entire existence needs to bow at me, and I have to know what's going to happen, because life doesn't know what it's doing. This is the sense that we have. Yet, my existence as a human being on this planet is a blink. It's just like, oh, okay, look at my eyes. One time. That's my entire life. Even if I live up to age 100, this is a blink. Who gives a shit about a blink? Existence doesn't give a shit that I lived 100 years. It's insignificant. It's totally insignificant. It's like, where were you 100 years ago, or where were you 200 years ago, or whatever? Or where are you going to be 100 years from now? I'm the one who's running the show. And I know what I'm doing. And I brought you here and I'm taking you. And for me, this understanding it brings a lot of comfort and it brings a lot of value. For personally, I'm only speaking for myself. Because I don't have to know. And it's very, very different way of looking at things in comparison to our conditioning, especially if you have a German conditioning or a Scandinavian conditioning or Western mind conditioning, that you have to know things all the time. You gotta know what's gonna happen. Versus maybe a hippy-dippy conditioning or a new age or spiritual conditioning that says, oh, okay, we're just going to go with the flow. So it really challenges the mind, the Western mind, that needs to know everything all the time. Is this making any sense? Heinz, there's another question. Go ahead, bring it up. Let's get into this. This is good. This is a juicy topic.
No, I don't have any other question. I'm still confused. So, what is from outside and what is the rest for us to do?
Yeah. What is
to get an idea?
Okay, but let me ask you this. All right. So you're a very sincere spiritual person, and you know, we've been around each other for me to have a good idea. I mean, of course, I'm not into your life. I don't know what you do or whatever, but from what I've seen and what I feel and the energy, your energy field and your behavior and the way you conduct yourself, I would say you're a very sincere person. You are serious about your work. You're not a bullshitter, and you are actively seeking self-realization and freedom. Would you say my observation about you is correct or not?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So, and there's a lot of aspects about you that I admire. Secretly, I admire. Okay. So, and so if someone in your category with your qualities, okay, what would you do if you can? What would you do next? If it was within your power to manifest it, what would you be manifesting as a highly spiritual person on this path with total sincerity? What would you like to offer or do?
I cannot answer this question. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Because you were asking me, like, what should we do or what's going to be next, right? Like, are we going to, because I'm trying to get an understand, okay, what should we do next? In reference to helping humanity to elevate its consciousness to the fifth dimensional consciousness, in what should I do personally to elevate my consciousness to another level? I mean, if I'm just to sit with myself and ask questions or think about it, okay, what is it I really want? And the answer is, I want to be happy all the time. This is what I want. I want to be happy. Personally, I don't like to suffer. And I have suffered long enough in my life. I have had my share of suffering. And I don't want to suffer. It's very, very just as clear as that. I don't like to suffer. So when I realized, okay, I don't want to suffer. So what did I do? I started chasing highs. I wanted to be high. I could no longer be around my guru because I left India and I couldn't go back. And then later on he died. Oh, I'm sorry, a spiritual term. He left his body. He went to the he passed on. So I wanted to be happy. All right. How am I going to be happy and how am I going to be high? By getting high. Drugs, alcohol, sex, chasing that elements that is exciting, danger, putting myself in dangerous situations that makes me really feel really alive and really high, and occasionally having an a spiritual experience of divine oneness. But I mean that or trying to make a lot of money so I can buy whatever I want and I can have all the toys I want to have, fast cars, boats, um, fast life, jet setting, all these things. So, and I never got to all of it, but to some point, I got close, and I got some of it. But in the midst of kind of having, never got to that jet set life that I was imagining, or never got to the amount of money that I wanted to have the kind of life that I was dreaming. But it got to a very comfortable point a couple of times. But there's always a but. There would things happen, like the girl would leave, something would happen, and the girlfriend would leave, and then you wake up in the morning and you feel depressed and you feel lonely, or you may have some different issues happen, whether it's with your business or money or taxes or whatever, and there's moments of anxiety or desperation or fear. There may be some health issues happen that you may think you're diagnosed with cancer or you have some stuff, and again fear comes. So it didn't bring any freedom. I wasn't free. The suffering was still there. Or after every drug high or alcohol high or any other highs, there's a calm down period. You have to calm down. And then so you go high, you get really high, and then you crash. So now there's an adjustment period before you balance out. So I realized eventually, it took me a long time to learn, because in some ways I'm a slow learner. But eventually I realized it wasn't there. What I wanted was what Papaji, Punjaji, or a few of these masters, teachers that I encountered, that they appeared to be having it. I wanted that. I just stick to Papaji. I wanted what he had. And he appeared to be at peace and at ease. And I wanted that. So I kept digging in and looking for it through practice, through prayer, asking existence to enlighten me, existence to give me the knowledge, the know-how, and trial and error, and getting high and getting depressed and doing all the neurotic, addictive things that I had to go through. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and realizing and going deeper and deeper, and finally understanding that, coming to this understanding that unless I bring my attention and keep my attention on the witness, on that part which doesn't go up and down, it's always here, that which doesn't change. Everything else is a conditional situation, which is temporal. It temporarily comes and goes. And there's no comfort in it. It always brings some kind of discomfort. And this very strong urge of that I need to know. I need to know. It kind of replaced by the understanding. It shifted. Because this thing that I need to know, it's very valid, and I completely understand it, its validity. Okay? But it does come from a place of separation, which, when the shift happens, there is this understanding that all is well, and this understanding that it's all perfectly falls into pieces and to places. All the pieces fall into right spot, and the mind becomes more quiet and more quiet, and you're just like in this place. It's like it's like the third eye is opening up. It's like you're elevating to this other place. And you're still, you got one foot on the ground, and you're living life, and you're dealing with everyday challenges of life, which there's a lot of stuff. There's a constant story of dealing with things every day. Every day. Like this morning, I had an episode here outside of my apartment. And there's always stuff, constantly, nonstop. There's always a challenge. Challenges are going to be there all the time. But then there's this understanding, there's this way of, you become it, you kind of adopt it, you kind of start living it. There's this sense that all is well. There's this sense that I am taken care of. There's this sense that I don't need to worry about anything. Yes, there's momentarily of, oh, shoot, I left the oven on with some food in it, and you're driving away, all of a sudden you remember, and yeah, oh, I need to go back. I can put the house in fire or whatever. Yeah, I understand that. That's in the moment. It's not like there's no worry, like you're mute and you're just like a machine. No, you're reacting to situations. But down deep, there's this understanding that all is well. It doesn't matter what happens. no matter what happens, all is well. Everything is perfectly taken care of because there is an intelligence here which is everywhere. This presence is everywhere and is in everything. And this intelligence that permeates every aspect of our lives, that intelligence knows better and knows how to take care of everything, or how to destroy things, how to make things fall apart, or how to put things together. But no matter what it does, it's perfectly the way it needs to be. So you kind of deferring your individual understanding of existence into that, you're deferring it. Like rather than me need to know, I'm deferring it to this other aspect of myself that already knows. Then I don't have to deal with it. I don't need to exhaust my daily energy in trying to figure out the nature of existence, or trying to figure out that, like hands-on, like every day I need to know what's going to happen next. Where is this going to go, or what's going to happen to me 10 years from now on, or yeah, if tomorrow I get disabled, then how do I continue making a living as just having one profession, which is spiritual teaching? So, okay, if something happened to me and I'm disabled, how am I going to continue? Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to feed me? I don't have to know, because I have an insurance policy which is called the Supreme Soul. That's my insurance policy. Her Majesty will take care of me, because I'm not my own responsibility. Neither are you. You're not your own responsibility either. It appears to be, but you're not. That which brought you to this planet, that which breathed itself, that when she breathed her breath into your body and created you and brought you here, that is responsible for your welfare, not you. You have nothing to do with any of it. Because you didn't bring yourself into this world. And you're definitely not going to take yourself out of this world either. Because you don't have the power to do it as a person. You had nothing to say when you were born, and you have nothing to say when you die. 0 votes. And definitely you didn't have anything to say in your destiny, how your life has unfolded. And I bet a lot of us, if you were to rewrite your life, I would say 99% you would write it differently. I may be wrong, but I'm assuming if you were to write your destiny, you would write it differently. From physical to emotional to your social standing, to your wealth, to being single or being or not being single, or being married, or having kids or not having kids. Especially in a Western society, that there is no family, the family values are destroyed, and that in the bigger cities, that there's no more tribes, there's no villages. So most people are alone, they're lonely. I mean, is this something you wanted, to be lonely after age 50 or 60? The last stage of your life, you wanted to be lonely? No, I don't think so. Or did you sign up to be disabled or to get disabled later on in your life? Because a lot of people, as they're aging, disability comes. Is this what you wrote in your book? If you wrote in your book, wouldn't you want to have a different body? Don't you want to be more prettier, or don't you want to be taller, or don't you want to be thinner, or don't you want to be more attractive, or don't you want to be more athletic, or I don't know. You only know. Wouldn't you write a different story? Don't you want to have more kinder parents, or more artistic, understanding parents? Or you want tyrants or dictators or assholes or angry parents who beat you up, or sexually abusing you, or verbally abusive? Did you have perfect parents? Perfect upbringing? Did you go to a school that the kids didn't pick up on you? Do you have perfect kids that they're loving and grateful to you, or they just kind of left you or call you twice a year? I mean, tell me, you guys tell me, someone speaks to me. Is this the life you planned on living? Can somebody talk to me, please? No? Nobody wants to talk to me?
I'll speak.
Yeah, hi,
Thank
Susie. Nice seeing you. Welcome back.
Great to be here. Okay, good question. I love your questions. Okay, is this the life I chose? No, a lot of it isn't.
Yeah, a lot of it isn't. So you didn't have any say, did you?
It's really making me think.
Yeah, okay, let's think about this for 30 seconds.
Okay.
Any of you? Hilde, is this the life you wanted to have?
It's quite interesting because I feel that I'm living my life backwards in a way. Because when I was 7, I was so sick of my arthritis that I was lying in bed and was doing a wheelchair, So I have been old, so I'm not afraid of aging. So I feel that I become younger and younger.
I understand.
And healthier,
Yeah. Well, this
and
is
of course, I wanted to have found the man in my life, but that has not happened yet.
Right. So, but if you were to write it, would you write it that there's also a man in your life?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, exactly. But there's not.
No.
No. Susie.
Yeah, okay. What? Is that a question? Would I have, sorry.
No, the question is what, I'm going to go back to what I was trying, Heinz brought a very good topic. I'm loving this.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Hans.
Yeah,
That's great.
and this is real. We're just being 100% real with each other, because we have nothing to lose from not being real. Especially most of our lives, we were unreal. So now there's a few moments that we can really talk about what is. If I would rewrite my life, yeah, I would write it differently. I probably would have chosen, I love my parents. I mean, one of them, the other one's gone. Yeah, maybe I would have chosen different parents who were more relaxed. They weren't so tense or needy or hands-on. Maybe I would have different brothers, sisters, or maybe I would grow up somewhere else. And yeah, maybe I would have wanted to be a couple inches taller, or be a professional athlete or something like that. Yeah, I would rewrite it. This is bugging. There's a lot of things I would write differently. But nobody, as far as I know, I'm only speaking about practical things of this life, okay? I'm not getting airy fairy, esoteric about before I was born, I decided to have da 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 da, and I chose this life, and this is my manifestation. I'm not going there. I'm talking about practical stuff of this life. As far as I know, I had nothing to say, It's not like I decided this, not from my perspective. I landed here in this life. And where it's gonna go, I have no idea. Do I ever think about what's gonna happen to me 5 years, 10 years from now? Yes, I do. I do think about it. The thought comes. Do I give it any attention? No. The thought comes, maybe I entertain it for 30 seconds, and then it's gone. Yeah, it's a good idea. And then boom. Do I need to know what's going to happen next? It would be nice if I did, because I probably would go invest in some stocks or bitcoins or something which would quadruple. But no, I don't need to know. I don't need to know what's going to happen next.
Can I ask something?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I can feel what you're saying. I can actually feel it, that I didn't choose to be Susie, and I didn't choose to be my height or my family or whatever. Okay, so I can feel that, and it feels good. It feels true to me. So then right now, this is where it's like, okay, so I make a choice to unmute myself and be really brave, and I'm getting braver and braver by speaking. I find it so hard. I'm getting better and better. Hold on. Where am I going with this? Fuck no, hold on. Mm-hmm. So we're given what we're given, and then within me and my choice, it's this line of not having free will. I choose to unmute myself and speak. I choose to then, hang on, where am I going here? Maybe you can help me. Where am I going? We have free will, and this thing about free will, I feel we're consciousness and form. We are sparks of God. We didn't design that. But the decisions we make, it just feels so fucking, it feels so sacred at the moment. Every decision I make feels I'm so awake and so aware. Just feels so, well, thank you.
Okay, let me help you. The decisions, every decision you make at any moment, you make this decision based on the highest amount of intelligence and knowledge available to you in the moment. For example, let me use an example so you understand it. when you marry somebody, okay, I found Mrs. Right, and I'm gonna marry her finally, okay, and I'm marrying her with what are my intentions? I'm gathering all the information I have around me, and I'm marrying this young lady or this lady or old lady or whatever with the intention that we're going to be very happy together, correct?
Yeah.
Are we on the same page on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are marrying somebody with the intention of a happy life.
Yes.
Do you ever go marry somebody with the intention that it turns to be a divorce or a disaster?
No.
No, you don't. And then when you're choosing, but how often marriages end up to be very happy and married?
Not often.
Not often, right? But pretty much everybody who's getting married, their initial intention is a happy life, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and then so you marry this guy, you married Bob, and you say, yeah, when I married him, he was very attentive, he was a sweetheart, he was such a sensitive guy, and I didn't know he's gonna turn to be an asshole, or he's a fanatic, or he's possessive, or he's got drug problems, or he's got anger issues. So when you're deciding to marry this guy, you are using all the intelligence available to you with all the knowledge and information you have for the best, and you're making your decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course your heart is involved, correct. But even with your heart being involved, you're still using all the info which is available to you. One moment, let me see. Somebody's making a lot of noise here. Let me mute everyone. Okay, good. Right. So back to this. So, all right. So I'm marrying this girl, and hoping we're gonna have a happy life. And then one day I want suddenly, accidentally or by design, I'm on my way to work or I'm traveling, but something happens. I'm coming back. I have to come back home. I enter into my home. I walk into my bedroom. I open the door, and her and my best friend are shacking each other. So she's having an affair with my best friend. That wasn't a part of the intention when we got married. And of course, now the marriage is destroyed and it's ruined because the trust is gone and there's a lot of heartbreak. But when I made my decision, I used the highest amount of intelligence available and information available to me for this. Same as, I don't know, any business you get into, you're making an investment. Let's say you're buying Bitcoin, or you're putting money into stocks, or you're buying a piece of real estate. With all the information available to you, in order to have a good, profitable investment. You are not investing in a real estate property or stocks or Bitcoin with the intention that you lose money. Nobody who has a sane mind on this planet would do that. So back into what we were talking about. At every given moment in your life, you have to make decisions all the time. All day long, you make decisions. I've never sat down and count how many decisions I make during the day. Maybe I should just pay attention to it. But let's say in a single day, you have to make 500 decisions. I don't know. Maybe it's 200, maybe it's 1,000. I have no idea. So I don't want to get caught up in that. But let's say, during the day you make 500 decisions, 400 decisions. Okay. So every time you make a decision, you're making this decision based on the information is available to you. Like, okay, the weather is a little bit weird right now. I mean, it's not, but it may be raining, it's not raining. I need to go to the supermarket and do some food shopping. And I decide, okay, I'm going to jump on my motorcycle and go to the market and do my shopping and come back before it rains. But so I'm using all the info and intelligence available to me. I jump on my motorcycle, I start driving. Halfway through, a blizzard comes, or a tropical storm comes, and I'm totally wet, or I fall down and I break my ankle, or I cut myself or something. Okay, but in the moment that I made my decision based on the best judgment that I had. And that's how life is. That's basically every moment of your life, you're doing that. When the decisions, you make a decision and everything goes your way and you have a positive result, we have a tendency to pat ourselves on the back and say, see, I made a good investment, and we made money at it. It was me who did it. And then when it's a disaster and we lose money, what we do is we're pointing our finger at other people or situations or life things, life circumstances, and or blaming ourselves that we screwed up. I have come to understand, in my own understanding, that neither of them have anything to do with me. None of my good decisions that turn to positive results, and none of my wrong decisions that turn into negative results, none of them are mine. They were never mine. Because simply I don't have any free will. Because for me to have free will means I am separated from existence. I have my own autonomy. I decided to be born with this body, with this eye colors, this shape, this looks. I decided to have these parents before I was born. I decided to have this destiny. I made all these choices, which I don't remember any of them. Neither do you or anybody else I know that remembers where they were before they were born and where they're going to go after they die. I don't know of anyone. Not personally. I never got to meet Ramana Maharishi in person to know if he knows his past lives or he knew where he was. Or I don't hang out with Mom Ritananda Mai, the Divine Mother. Maybe they know. I don't know. But all the people in this life I met, none of them have a clue. And I don't have a clue. And most of the time, events in life are not in my control. I have zero say in what is happening in the world or what is happening where I live, or even very little control of what's happening in my home.
Can I ask, this is amazing, so about intention.
One moment.
I'm not questioning you, Zarathustra.
Yeah.
This is really resonating. I'm not questioning you. I haven't got time for this. But about, okay, so that makes complete sense what you just said about at any given moment in time, the decisions we make are the best ones that we know how to, given. I understand that. So my intention, when we set our intention, okay, hang on. Let's not make this too complicated. Hang on, I'm telling myself that. So if I just chose to just fucking give up, I don't know why I'm being hypothetical, and just I can't kind of. I think it's an important intention. Thank you for the patience with my mind. Like I set an intention. Am I making sense? I'm not even sure what I'm asking.
Okay, let me finish this thing, and then you can gather your thoughts, and then you can bring it up.
Thank you.
I don't even have control in my own home. I don't even have control over my body. I mean, this is so ridiculously obvious. Like, can you control your body? I mean, if you, for example, you get gassy, can you control yourself? Or if you suddenly get a stomach flu and you got really bad diarrhea, can you control yourself? I mean, if you get a migraine headache, how much of that is in your control? Or if you wake up in the morning, all of a sudden you got a zit. Or, you know, when we get older, we get these black spots. I don't know what you call it. You know, all of a sudden something shows up. It's like, what the hell? You know, the other day I just saw like something on my arm. It's like, what the hell? Where did this come from? I mean, I'm not in control of my digestion. Yeah, maybe I'm in control of what I put into my mouth. But the moment I put it in my mouth to the moment that it comes out, I have no control. And I've lived in this body all of my life. How much control do I have on this? Even where I live. I mean, all of a sudden, you know, I maybe put a little bit, I don't know, maybe I dropped a couple drops of apple juice on a counter that I didn't see it. And then the next day there's like an army of ants. They have a railway going on. I mean, do I have any control over ants showing up into my apartment, or spiders showing up, or flies showing up? Or all of a sudden the refrigerator breaks down, or the air conditioning? How much control do I have over any of these things? And you know, I live here. Let alone let that you get out. How much control do you have in your environment outside of your apartment, in the city or town you live in? Suddenly, you know, one day, tomorrow you wake up and there's a big notice on the door of your home. And you go and look at the notice, and they want you to come to the city hall to meet with deputy mayor of the town or the city. You go there for a meeting, they say, the city of Frankfurt or the city of Stockholm or the city of, I don't know, New Jersey or wherever, decided that they're going to build a tunnel, or the subway is going to go to this, and we're buying you out. And you have to leave. You got 2 months or 3 months to leave, because the city is going to put a highway or a street or subway through this line. Well, how much control do you have over that? What are you going to do? How much control do you have if next week you go for your test and your doctor says you have a brain tumor? Or you get in an accident and you do everything right. You pay your taxes on time, you're a good person, you help your neighbor to take the garbage to the garbage bag. You know, you're a very good citizen, you're a great spiritual human being, but all of a sudden you're diagnosed with a deadly cancer and you only have 3 months. You did everything right in your life. Yeah, you don't have any control over anything. And that works for me. For me, it works very well. And I like that. And I surrender to it. And in that surrendering of realizing that every decision I make is completely dependent on the entire existence. Anything I do, even for me to leave this place, get on my motorcycle, go to Chedraui, our Safeway, and come back, the entire existence has to say yes. From traffic lights on the street, from other motor vehicles, that other drivers, nobody hits me. Dogs don't jump in front of me and I don't have an accident. Somebody is not being a ding dong reading, looking at their phone and driving, and then boom, they smash me and they disabled me for life. The weather is going to cooperate. For a simple thing, for me to go to Safeway, do some shopping and come back, a billion different elements of existence that none of them are under my control, they have to say yes. You're going to have a safe journey to the mall or to the Safeway and buy some food and come back. Something very ordinarily that you don't even think about it twice. It's that connected. It's super connected. Not just going to Safeway and back. When you're just sleeping, from the moment you sleep, millions of different elements, they have to work hand in hand. Food gets digested, everything gets delivered, your liver is cleansing things and filtering things, and then toxic waste needs to be disposed, and 30 billion cells are going to die and 30 new billion cells are going to be reborn. And I mean, there's so much things continuously is happening inside you and outside you that you have zero control over. Go ahead. Yeah, Heinz, go on.
So when I make a plan, what I'd like to do tomorrow or the next 5 years, so could it be something like a game for the universe to say, wow, this guy likes to do this tomorrow, what should he feel? So should he have success, or what should happen to him?
It's perfectly, it's perfectly normal. I think of things, okay? Yeah, I really like to go to Bacala, and I've never been there, and I really like to go there this weekend. That's great. Sounds wonderful. You make the plan, and you have all intentions to do it. It may happen, it may not happen. If it happens, existence said yes. If it doesn't happen, existence said no. There's nothing wrong with the planning. You can think about future as much as you like and plan. Whether it's going to happen or not, it's a different story. And even the one who's thinking about future is not even you. The one who's thinking and planning for the future is the same one that makes it happen or not happen. So even those thoughts are not your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, nasty thoughts, sexual thoughts, happy thoughts, spiritual thoughts, it doesn't matter. None of them is you thinking or me thinking. It's all happening by one source through these different individuals. But it won't be fun if the realization happens. If you realize that it's only the source, then the game is over. It's not having fun. It's only gonna have fun with itself as long as there is an illusion of duality. As long as there's a sense that there is separation, It's fun. And of course, it created like 7-8 billion. I don't even know if it exists or not, if it's true, because I've never seen 7-8 billion people at one place. So I don't know if these numbers are real or they're bullshit or they're imaginary or whatever. As far as I know, I only see a few people around me in my life. Or maybe if I'm teaching and maybe there's 200 people in front of me, or if I'm walking in a very busy street and I see a lot of people. But that's as far as I ever seen in my life. Or if I go to a stadium, and let's say there's 100,000 people. Okay, this is as far as you ever see. But let's say there's 7 or 9 billion people exist, which I don't even know. But let's say it does. So the Grand Spirit is simultaneously experiencing life through 7 or 8 billion people. Out of this 7 or 8 billion people, because it's manifested in the world of duality, this whole thing, it's in the third dimension. So there's white and black, there's man and woman, there's day and night, there's good and bad. Since it has manifested itself in third dimension, which is the dimension of duality, it has to create also some awakened beings. So it has created the separation, and people who are, we call it seekers or sleepy or non-awake, and then it has to create some awakened beings too, because both sides come together. You cannot have one thing in this dimension without the other. So it does create a small portion of enlightened people versus 7 billion sleepy people. It does create some awakened people. But it doesn't want to awaken the whole planet, because then its game is over. It cannot play. Otherwise, it's not a big deal for it to awaken the entire planet. It can just do it because it created it. It's its creator. Is this making any sense? No. Shadi, what do you think? Shadi S.
I was just going to ask, what I was thinking while you were speaking is in terms of duality, like right now there's Shadi speaking and then there's Zarathustra, and then we're having a dialogue. But in absence of duality, then the speaker is the same speaker on two sides. Like you're speaking and I'm speaking, but it's the same source speaking, and it seems like we're having a conversation.
Yes.
That's a dialogue.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there's no meaning to anything that's even said. It appears like there's a story, but then there's no meaning. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, from the point of view of absolute reality, yes, it's all meaningless.
So when Heinz in the beginning was asking, I think he was saying like, so what's the point, or what can we do?
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe he meant what I was like, how I understood him was that, is there any meaning to this game or this?
No, there is no meaning into this life. Zero. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end, but human mind cannot understand it, it cannot comprehend it, because ordinary human being is operating and viewing life from a place of separation. Ordinary human being, because that's their experience. Their experience is not, you're not experiencing oneness, you're experiencing separation. And when you're experiencing separation, then you're trying to make a sense out of it. Because what does it mean? What does this life mean? It has to have a meaning. We must be evolving to a higher state of consciousness. So it's going somewhere. But it's only the appearance of it's going. It looks like it's going somewhere, but it's not going anywhere because there's nowhere to go. It's always here. Here keeps manifesting itself. Excuse me one moment. Here, because for the mind wants to make sense. So it needs a duration. This is happening, this existence that we're all experiencing right now, we're all here, is, of course, why are you living this life? It's meaningful, or it's got some significance. From an individual point of view, yes, that has this feeling of being separated. Everything, it's got a purpose. It's happening in time space, so it's got duration. But when you wake up to it and you pop, then there is no separation. There was no beginning and there is no end. And none of it is going anywhere because it's all one. Everything that has ever been said, everything that is being saying right now, and everything that is going to be said in the future, all of it is here. And there is no last minute and there is no future minutes. It's all here. So you recognize that, you come to that understanding, then it's like there's no more questions. It just is. And in that shift, what happens is, from a perspective of still living a human life, that's where your life starts. Because that's where it gets juicy. The real juice, everything that you think you had fun and you experienced and it was satisfactory, it's really nothing in comparison from this point on, because the real fun just starts. Because now, for the first time in your life, you're living a juicy life, which is always here in this moment. With all its challenges and craziness, it's always here. And definitely the sense of the victim disappears, because there's no victim. It's like no one ever did anything wrong to you, and you were never victimized by anyone, because there is no one else. It's only the one. It was just playing with itself. And there is no others, and there is no, I don't know, the Al-Qaeda or the communists or the Nazis or the fascists.
So,
or
can I just ask you something? For me, for example, the most abstract is, like, for example, a mother giving birth to a child. Because in her experience, she feels like she's giving life to something. But in absolute reality, then it's the same oneness playing the two roles. So that means it was just an hallucination, a dream state, or like.
Yeah. Well, all of it is in a dream state. Yeah. Again, you have to, from where are you looking at it? You know, you go to the absolute reality. Yes, nothing has ever happened. And you experience that nothing has ever happened when you're in a deep meditation, and your attention goes into the focal point of yourself, and you're just staring, and your attention is simply on your presence or the witness, and you're looking inwards, and there is no thoughts. Even your body disappears. You don't have a body. When you're in a deep state of meditation and you're completely in silence, there is no body. The body goes away. You can try it right now. Close your eyes and just go inwards. Unless you touch your body, there is no body. There's a sense of presence. There's an I am, but it doesn't have a body. So from that point of view, from the point of view of the absolute, yeah, there is nothing. It's just is. I am is the only thing that exists. And then when you come down from that and you get into nitty-gritty part of things, yes, there's the manifestation. And the manifestation, this is a remote control for air conditioning, this is a cell phone, all these things starts to appear. They come back. And your life, your issues, your problems, your challenges, whatever you're going through, they reappear. But when you go deep down inside and you go to this place, there's nothing. And you experience that because you are that. This understanding is not something like, oh, it's there only for Ramana Maharishi or Meher Baba or Christ or Krishna. Because you are that, and it's in you, and you're in it, you do experience it. You just don't know. Right? There is absolutely no teachings, no education for us to. No one's pointing out to this. Your parents didn't know this. Your grandparents didn't know about it. Your society don't know anything. The schooling doesn't say. The government, the army, the church, nobody knows. People don't know it. So therefore, you live your life through this conditioning, this program that is written for us, and everybody's doing the same thing, so you're going to be doing the same thing. And if you don't do the same thing, you think something's wrong with you. So everyone does the same thing, and they live their life and they die. And then the next generation and next generation, everyone else does the same thing. And every once in a while, somebody pops. Somebody gets out of it and realizes that, wait a minute, this is a program everybody's living, and is there something outside of this? Maybe there is something deeper in it. So that's investigation of the inner world begins to happen, because your attention starts to turn inwards from outside world of the model that has been put in front of you. You deviate from it and you start digging in. And what is the model that put in front of you? That you're a good girl, you behave, you do the things your parents want you to do to be rewarded, If you do what they want you to do, you receive love. If you go to school and get good grades, the school and teachers like you, so you get rewarded. So acceptance and love is an object. It's something that you have to work for it to get it from the outside. And then you need to get good education, and you go to school and you make money. Or if your country's at war, you go and kill a lot of enemy soldiers to defend the motherland, and you get a medal for it. If you're an athlete, you bring, the World Cup, you win it, and the country loves you and cherish you, and they put you up. And you're supposed to, be a good person, being a model citizen, go to work, pay your taxes, get married, reproduce, create kids, put them in the church, and make them good soldiers so they fight for Christianity or Islam or Judaism. That's the model that is put in front of you. And for thousands of years, up to the past maybe 30 years, 40 years, women are to stay home and breed children and cook food, and men go to work up to like 40 years ago. And that model is changing now. But that's the model put in front of you. And if you questioned it, there was something wrong with you. If you had any ideas of living any different, then there's something wrong. You need to see a psychologist, or you need to be drugged. And then a few of us started to question things and started to explore the inner world, because we couldn't fit in that model. We're not the right fit for it. So we begin to dig in. Or we were traumatized, sexually abused, physically abused, coming from broken families, and all kinds of different things that have happened in our lives that forced us to, or had accident or near-death experiences, or financially we were traumatized, or whatever has happened to us forces us to have a breakthrough, and then go into this inner exploration. Yeah, and if you're lucky, you pop and you come across, you're discovering like, wow, I mean, the real treasure, the heaven that I was told about, is really inner peace. It has nothing to do with objects. It's really within myself. It's actually not thinking. It's a quiet mind, a mind that is quiet, a mind that is not continuously being involved with the story of my life or the world. The more I deviate from it and I get away from it, the more I go into silence, the groovier my life becomes. The more I don't have to control things, the more things come to me. The less I try to make things happen, the more things happen. It's the other way around. And sometimes maybe it's not immediate reward. Sometimes maybe it takes time. But you definitely start to sense and experience a sense of comfort. The more you chill, the more you pull back, the more you're just not really trying to control. You're driving this vehicle, and you think you're in control of your life. You know, you're driving, this is, you know, and you're turning right and the car goes right, and you're turning left and the car goes left. And you say, oh wow, great. I'm a good driver. I'm in control of my life. I make these things happen. And then one day you're turning the wheel to go left and the car goes right. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought I've done all these courses and I've learned how to be in control and manifest things. And there must, what happened? I need to go back and refresh and take another course, and figure out how to be in control of my life. So you come back and you get behind the wheel, and you're turning left and the car goes left, and turning right and the car goes right, and left goes left, right goes right, and comes to another turn and you want to go right and the car goes left. And you're like, fuck, what the hell? I thought I know how to control things and manifest life and be in control of it. And then maybe there's a moment to say, okay, well, maybe something's wrong with the car, because I've already gone to driving school and learned how to drive a bunch of times. I took a lot of courses, mind control and create my own destiny and be in charge and but things aren't really going my way. All right. So then it is a moment like you say, okay, is something wrong with the car? So you go under the car, you open the hood, you go under the car, and then all of a sudden you realize the wheel is not connected to the tires. The car is actually going on rails. It's like train. So all this time you thought you're driving it, the wheel wasn't even connected. It was going on the tracks. And that's what's happening to you right now. You're starting to examine the vehicle. And it's very confusing in this stage. There's a lot of struggles with it, and there's a lot of confusion. And I understand, believe me, I went through every step of this and more.
So basically it's like on autopilot.
It's on autopilot. It is. It's always been on autopilot. You just don't know it. Because we've been brainwashed to follow that model, right? They put one way in front of you from childhood, and they kept banging in your head. Go to school, be a good girl, get married, and make babies, and that's the only thing you know from the time you were born. Now it's changing. It's the digital world, and it's changing. But prior to this new generation, which is happening in past maybe from the hippies, from the 60s, that the movement, some awakening started to happen, up to 1960, we operated out of one model. There was only one way. There wasn't any other way. If you were a woman, you had no rights. Yeah, 2,000 years ago in Iran, ancient Persia, we had female kings and female generals of armies that they were Persian, Iranian, Persian women, 2,000 years ago. or other cultures that women were leaders. But for past 3,000 years, they boxed you guys and they put you into this thing, forced you into this submission that you have no rights, nothing to say, you were property, they bought you, sold you, you know, you were a commodity for profit or exchange or whatever. And now things change, but you know, they all taught us one thing, or the men, you're the man of the family and you're the bread bringer or whatever. So we all went through this one-dimensional model. And now it's popping up. And you can see changes. But it's still on the outside. But it gives you an opportunity to go inwards and gives us a chance for freedom. I mean, 100, 200, 400, 500 years ago, unless you lived in India, you basically could not be a spiritual person. You would be prosecuted. They would hang you or burn you if you were saying things outside of religion. You were a weirdo. You were antichrist. So whatever you had to do, like Rumi, you know, Hafez, or some of the Western world saints, not saints, sages, they had to hide their writings and their way of being. They had to hide it under science or religion or poetry. They couldn't directly talk about humanity consciousness. It was very one-dimensional. They would hang you for being a witch or being a healer or whatever. The history of human history is full of different spiritual men and women who were raped and beat and tortured and hung just because they popped and they didn't want to follow this model. Now we have a chance for awakening, to free ourselves from this illusion that you're in control, this illusion that you have free will. It's a prison. Free will is really, the idea that you have free will is a prison, because it means you're separated. So you're in this individual box, separated and lonely. And you can see its evidence because nobody knows what you feel. Nobody can hear your thoughts unless you speak. So you live in this prison from the time you were born to the times you die. That's not liberation. That's not freedom. Nobody knows what's going on inside you, and you cannot communicate it because you have this sense that you are an individual, you're an entity having your own autonomy, separated from everything else. And that's a program, and that's a prison. Free will is a curse. It's not helping you. It's actually destroying you. Because it represents separation. And it creates a myriad of sufferings. That you're screwed up, you didn't do well with your life, and you should be doing more, and you know, you could have done this, you could have done that, and all this stuff. But when you give that up and you pop out of it, then peace comes. Comfort comes. You're no longer suffering. And that was happened for me because I mentioned I don't like to suffer. So
that is a blessing, you know.
that's a blessing because when this happens, your happiness is no longer subject on things going your way. You have realized that happiness is inner silence where there's no thoughts. Not that things go my way. Things can go my way, it's great. And when things don't go my way, it's still fine. Because there's this powerful sense of trust that no matter what happens, you're always taken care of. No matter what happens, there's not a problem. Issues pop and you deal with it, but you're always taken care of because you're not your own responsibility. You're not the one who brought yourself to this planet. Something else brought you here, and that thing is responsible for you. Let them do their job. It's not your job to figure out what to do next. Let them just do it. There's tremendous amount of comfort in that understanding. And you can always give it a try. Give it a try for 6 months and see what happens. You have nothing to lose. Don't worry about it, you know? Or a month. See if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, come back to where you're at. Come back and do whatever you're doing right now.
Then it's much more easier to live in the now when you don't worry all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And when the worry comes, you're observing it as thoughts. Because what's worry?
That's just thoughts.
Yeah,
feelings.
worry is a series of consistent waves of thoughts that come in your mind. And always comes back to me. I mean, you're not worried about the world, you're worried about you. You're worried about your kids. You're not worried about the world. It's always what's going to happen. When you dig deeper, it's always like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my life if everything falls apart? So you recognize that it's a series of thoughts that appearing in your mind, and you just don't give it any energy. You don't entertain them. And they just pass. And you always come back to yourself. And one of the best ways is disconnecting from the news. Because that's the news, its job is to create anxiety and worry. Its job is to create the illusion of separation. There's a sense that things are separated. How are we doing, Heinz? You definitely started a very good conversation.
Yeah, well, it's funny. So everything looks like a game.
It's all a game.
Yeah.
Happening in God's imagination. So you're in.
When you
Huh?
When you asked before that you said 99% of people like to change their past. So I think I would write another book for my life, but when I look backwards, it made fun. So things didn't happen like I would like, but it really, these are things where I could learn a lot of things. And so the life was not like I would have planned it, but it was fun.
Yeah, and that's
not laugh all the time, but that things are, I made things to work.
Yes.
I didn't believe.
Yes. Yeah, to be at peace with it.
Yes.
It was exactly. First of all, there's no one has ever lived life that was fun all the time. Even it looks like such as, okay, maybe they live, maybe they died young, and okay, they never went into much suffering, but even the people that we feel like they had a lot of fun most of their life, there's a lot of dull moments in it. And let me just mute everybody. Yeah, I mean, it when the understanding comes, you realize like it's perfect. It was perfectly designed to be this way, and you come to peace with it. And that changes everything. You're accepting your life the way it is, with all its good and bad and everything. You're just at peace with it. And then there's no more mind fucking that it should have been different or this or that. You're just at peace. And isn't that what we want at the end? To have inner peace. Because where does the battle happen? Where is the struggle happening? It's not happening really physically. Yeah, I mean, you may have some health issues. I understand that. But the struggle, the main part of the struggle is always happening in your head. Your thoughts and your emotions. That's where it's happening. But if these two are really quiet, then there is no problem. Cool. So what should we title this, Ms. Hilda Evanstadt or Shadi? What do we title? What title do we give to this topic today?
I was just thinking we are playing in God's playground or something.
Okay.
If we are living in God's playground.
What was the first thing you said, Heinz, today? In the beginning, the question started it with.
Yeah, for me, I asked myself, what is the rest to do for me? So God is planning everything, but what is the rest to do for me?
Okay, what is the rest to do for me? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? Right? Okay, good. All right, now I have a title. Well, my dear brothers, sisters, so nice to see you. We will have an academy next Wednesday. I don't know what next Wednesday the date is, but I don't think I'm traveling next Wednesday. Let me just take a look. I don't know my dates. Okay. Anybody knows? Oh, next Wednesday is the 5th. Yeah. And then on the 6th, I'm heading. Oh, wow. I'm leaving in 1 week. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. I get to see both Shadis next week. Hi, Shadis.
Yay, we're looking forward to having you.
Yeah, I'm going to. I can't believe it's going to be next week. Wow. So I'm heading to Toronto. I'm going to be presenting at the Boomi Fest, and if you are in Toronto or area or Ontario or the whole Montreal or whatever, I hope you're able to come. And then I have a series of different events in the city of Toronto, downtown Toronto. I'm offering some free events and some paid events. So feel free to contact me. You can go on my website, zarathustra.tv. Also, Shadi Sarafian, she's our event coordinator, so you can contact her locally and she'll give you the details. My website, as I said, is zarathustra.tv. My email address is info@zarathustra.tv. If you want to communicate with me, please feel free and write me an email. And my social media pages are Zarathustra 5D. So looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And those of you who are viewing this from Toronto area, I hope that we get a chance to meet in person. Sending you lots of love and light, and see you next week. Namaste. Thank you.
Recordings.
All right, to all my dear friends from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, thank you for joining me and supporting. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.